Hi, everyone. Before I start, I would like to thank the organizer for giving us the opportunity to share with you some of the works that we have done in Treat Asia. And in this case, we were looking at the transmission networks of HIV among men who have sex with men in East and Southeast Asia. Understanding the dynamics of HIV transmission across large geographic areas provide important information on the origin of viral lineages and their epidemic expansion. In Treat Asia, we collected close to 2,000 samples from 12 urban sites in 5 different countries in Thailand, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines, and over a 5-year period between 2006 and 2011. From phylogenetic, among these patients, about 360 patients were identified as MSM. And from phylogenetic analysis, 144 patients were clustered with subtype B, and the remaining 186 were CRF01. In order to estimate the size and frequency of transmission clusters in our data set, we combined the TASER-M data with over 400 global subtype B and CRF01 sequences isolated from the MSM. In this study, we really use a very simple definition in which a transmission cluster is defined as a phylogenetic cluster with at least 2 isolates that forms a clade supported by bootstrap values of over 90% and a Bayesian posterior probability value of 1.0 at the tree node of the MCC tree. And overall, results show that there are 50 transmission clusters of various sizes estimated across East and Southeast Asia, with a mean size of 5.6 patients per network. And results also show that subtype B has a higher tendency to form clusters compared to CRF01. And close to 80% of the clusters were country-specific, and the remaining 20% of the clusters could be found in more than 1 country. We went on to estimate the time of the most recent common ancestors for all subtype B and CRF01 transmission clusters in our analysis using a relaxed clock Bayesian MC-MC method implemented in BEAST. And the results show that there was continuous emergence of new subtype B and CRF01 clusters among MSM across Asia, especially over the past 15 to 20 years, despite increased access to ART in the mid-90s. And interestingly, major clusters were also observed in countries like China in red, Hong Kong in yellow, and Philippines in blue. And of interest, some of these major clusters some of the sequences in these major clusters were found in more than 1 country. For example, on the upper right, the Chinese and Hong Kong cluster. And smaller clusters were also detected from Mongolia, Malaysia, Thailand. And in addition to a phylogenetic approach, we also use an alternative pairwise distance-based method for network construction using Python scripts. And the results generated were largely comparable with the phylogenetic method. And of note, the results could be influenced by incomplete sampling or cluster extinction. In summary, data on HIV transmission clusters provides real-time direct evidence of ongoing forward transmission that otherwise cannot be easily detected by conventional epidemiological surveillance. And TMRCA analysis indicated the continued emergence of new subtype B and CRF01 clusters in the past 3 decades in Asia. And such uninterrupted growth of networks suggests the role of transmission clusters as the continuous driving force in causing new infections among MSM in Asia. And we also speculate that In general, increased access to ART may not be sufficient in reducing transmission clusters. The similarly reduced transmission rates among individuals on ART could have been outpaced by the rapidly growing networks, and therefore early diagnosis and early treatment among MSM may be important to stop further transmission. And I would like to thank all study participants who were involved in this